Hello, everybody. This is Mayor Matt Starr from the city of Mount Vernon, and I've got a couple of special guests in the office with me today. We've got Kim Rose and Michael Percy, who are with the Foundation Park Conservancy and all of the things that you see out at Ariel-Foundation Park. These guys know a lot about it. So we thought we would bring these two gentlemen in to talk about precautions and things that we need to keep in mind when we're out exercising and getting rest and relaxation when we're out at Ariel-Foundation Park. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Welcome.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, let's start with how is everything going for Ariel-Foundation Park, and what kind of plans do you guys have for this year that we know of that we know of thus far? Anyway, Kim, why don't we start with you?
Well, right now that is a big question. And we're somewhat like everybody else on a day-to-day basis trying to find to learn when we're going to be able to continue our activities. Right now we've had to cancel one concert, the face-to-face concert, which was a Billy Joel Elton John tribute that was set for June 11th. We have canceled that, but we really want to do the 4th of July celebration. So we really want to do the 4th of July celebration.
I've been conversing with our fireworks folks pretty regularly. So anyway, I think, oh, please, yes, I really want to see 4th of July happen too. So yeah.
Well, this is our 5th anniversary, and
Yeah.
we had spent a year planning this event. And 5 years ago, when we were thinking of the park, thinking that it would be the haven for our community during a pandemic would have just been something that we couldn't plan for.
What a memorable experience.
Yes, we were dealing with bad weather and everything else back then to try and get it open on the 4th of July. And now to think for the 5th anniversary we're dealing with a pandemic is somewhat interesting. But as of now, we plan on having a spectacular day on the 4th of July, and that will begin with a number of festivities. The first is the dedication of the Riverview Park, which I know a lot of folks have started to see the signage and the fencing, et cetera, at Riverview Park, and Michael's been very involved in that. And if you don't allow me to go down a rabbit hole here, Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about Riverview Park and the collaboration with Rotary and everyone else in the community for this?
But where is it first?
So it's at a lot of people call it the old car wash property, but it was for years it was the Rotary Heritage Park. There at the corner by the viaduct and Gay Street. And so what we, working with Rotary and the Foundation Park Conservancy and Mount Vernon Development Corporation, we chose to enhance that park and add some things that we had with Ariel-Foundation Park. The sunset swings, there's one already installed. There's 3 more coming.
And people can sponsor those, is that correct?
They are all spoken for already.
Wow.
So Rotary used it as a fundraiser to promote what Rotary does. So they've all been spoken for. We've got Gordy and Fran Yance, Mark and Denise Ramser, First Knox, and the Rotary Club of Mount Vernon sponsored all of those all those swings. So they will all be up very shortly, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. So.
People are gobbling those things up. They're great, by the way.
Yes.
They're absolutely phenomenal.
And so the idea behind the swings is not only can you view the sunset, but you'll be able to sit there and see both the viaduct and the footbridge as well as the tower lights at night. You'll be able to see all those come on as the sunset goes down. And so it's really kind of exciting that we have enhanced that park and added, we're calling it the gateway to Ariel-Foundation Park. And it really is. It's going to be, for 4th of July in particular, it's a great place to park, walk over to the park and view the fireworks, and it's probably going to be a really good spot to watch the fireworks. I think those 4 sunset swings will be really popular.
Yeah, I agree. So
if you've not had an opportunity to go down and just stand at that park, be by the river, there's some ledges there that you're able to watch the river. It's just a very calming area.
It's really serene. I've been down there too, and a few times, just taking a look, and boy, what an attribute, and like you said, the gateway to that whole park. That's just perfect. So
well, on the 4th of July, we're going to dedicate that park, and at the gazebo, this is just small town America. We're going to have the Dublin Silver Band, which is a brass band, which will be there, and just out of the Norman Rockwell photos will be a brass band on the 4th of July dedicating that park, and we're really looking forward to
And
that.
that's going to be, if I recall, about 2:30 in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere
Yes.
in the afternoon over
Yes,
there.
and there'll
Yeah.
be a variety of activities that will then open up for the 4th of July festivities. And that evening, we will have 2 concerts at the Schnormeyer Event Center, assuming we can all make this happen. The QB Sisters, followed by the Weight Band, which are 2 very impressive, and I should also add expensive acts, which will just be really wonderful for our 5th year celebration for the park. So that's what we're really looking forward to, and we can't wait to get back into being able to do our weddings and other events that are on hold right now, which
Yeah.
are just extremely disappointing that we can't be offering those facilities, but we're like everybody else. We have to abide with the appropriate rules and regulations are. So
Sure.
as quickly as we can reopen, we will. Beyond that, the park is open for recreation. It's as we know, it's a very large park, very unique for a community our size, and as a frequent visitor there, I've been able to observe just an absolutely not packed, but well-used park.
There's a lot of people there right now.
A lot of people.
I'm out there 2 or 3 times a week I walk out there, and I'm amazed at how many people are out there fishing, just walking, just walking pretty much. That's pretty much it.
They've adopted it. It's theirs.
Yeah.
And they're just enjoying it. That the trout being stocked in the lake
yeah.
this week, the fisher folks, the fishermen and women that are out there. And there's something that I would mention that's going on out there, and folks aren't really catching on to this, that is, as the ducks and the waterfowl migrate to the north, on any given day, you don't know what type of duck you're going to see at the park. And this week, if you have never seen a loon, there have been 4 loons at the park.
Oh, wow.
And you'll know them because they've got kind of a checkerboard back, and they're a diving duck, so they're entertaining to watch, where there's like 3 that are not diving a lot and 1 that is, and when it dives, you won't see it for a minute, and it will pop up, literally hundreds of feet away. It's really incredible.
It's interesting you said that, because when I was walking the last time, I was coming up on around that path, coming up on the north side of the Middle Lake, and I saw this thing go under. I thought it was an otter or something, because it didn't come up for the longest time, and then
that's a loon.
That's the loon.
And
okay.
they don't get real close to you. I've got some. I was able to capture 2 of them in a photo, but they're just absolutely wonderful birds to listen to and to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it interesting that you see all these people at the park and nobody recognizes that something very unusual is going on right in front of them. That's to have loons in your lake and during the migration. And then an osprey has been in the area, and an eagle has been in the area, and they're fishing out of the lake. They like the trout like everybody else. So it's been a very entertaining week with respect to the wildlife that's at the park. So don't forget to look for that when you're out there.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask this, and Michael, why don't I throw this one to you? How has this the COVID-19 threat had an impact on the park from an operations standpoint?
Well, we've had to put a lot of things on hold, but in particular, we had to close the tower. In looking at the health department, and speaking with the health department and their advice, the surfaces of the tower staircase are just too difficult to clean, and because of the types of surfaces involved, we really felt we just had to close the tower. Unfortunately, it was something we didn't want to do, but it was too difficult to be socially distanced on there and keep the place clean. The other big issue is we've kept the restrooms clean and conferring with the city. It's just too difficult to get those restrooms clean, and so they normally would just be opening, but we're going to give it a little bit longer before we open those up. And then we've also had to close the picnic pavilions. Again, this was on advice from the health department and the Ohio Department of Health.
Because that the virus, as we have learned, it stays on hard surfaces.
Correct.
That's the reason why we're doing this and taking
Correct.
that precaution.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. So what activity we kind of have gotten? We've kind of talked a little bit about this, but what other kind of activities can we do? People need to to keep in mind when they go out to the park. Everybody's looking for time to just get out of the home and just walk around, because I go stir crazy if I got to be in the house longer than 24 hours. But so that's my go-to place. But what sort of other activities are we talking about?
Well, I'll start with that by going to our website, Ariel-Foundation Park.org. Under the Learn More tab, we've created a virtual resources, and on their example is there's things to there's a scavenger hunt. So there's things to look for at the park when you're there that you can learn about on the website. There's coloring pages and different things and different activity suggestions. So that's a great place to start before you go, is to go to our website and check out the things that you can do. We encourage you to exercise. We encourage you to walk, explore the wildflowers that'll be coming up here very soon in West Foundation, explore the 50 native species of trees of Ohio, which is also in West Foundation. Again, there's the rainbow trout. We encourage you to fish. So there's just be in nature and be outside is wonderful, and we're so fortunate that we have such a large space that you can do that and still be socially distant.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that social distancing. Kim, if I can throw that back to you. When you're out walking and you see somebody coming, common sense. Let's talk about
respect everybody's 6 feet of space and just be cognizant of that. And for the most part, that's occurring. When I'm walking and watching, folks are very aware of somebody feeling uncomfortable if they get too close. So I don't think that is a big problem. I see particularly teenagers or younger folks are pulling into the parking lots, and they're literally parking their vehicles 6 feet away and having an evening. And, that's very socially responsible. That's good. So right now, I don't think that we're having a problem, because the park is so large that there's plenty of room for everybody to walk, and they're just keeping their distance. One thing that if your family's bored and you really want to do something, we've had a lot of wind lately, and you could do us a favor by going down into Ramsar Woods and just picking up sticks and bringing them over. You'll see piles of sticks by the road, and that's a great family activity. If you need to get away from each other, you can separate by picking sticks up, but that would really help us by going down and picking up sticks to keep it clean, and it provides a nice family activity.
Absolutely. Now let's explain exactly where Ramsar Woods is in relation to the rest of the park.
So when you look at the lake,
the
middle lake, it is just south of that. It's where the trail goes through the roadway. That's Ramsar Woods.
Got it. Okay.
And that would be a great help to us.
Excellent. So if anybody's out there and just wants a family activity, go pick up some sticks. And where do we have them put them again?
They'll see that there are piles alongside of the road.
Okay.
And then the city and I believe the city's coming by and picking those up.
Our staff is as well. Yes.
Okay.
But that's been a problem where we've had a lot of sticks coming down.
That's I think it's a great idea. People can get out and do a little bit of yard work. I might do that myself since I'm in a condo, and that's all paid for me now. I might go out and just start picking up sticks again.
If people want to be productive.
Absolutely.
And that's the way you can be productive.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the Michael. You mentioned the picnic pavilion that's closed up. We're not really encouraging any family picnics in there. But Correct. Can people go on and rest, sit?
Yes, it's just we were encouraged to not have them be open and to because they are not being sanitized. You need to be aware that it's your risk when you're in there. We have not been able to keep those clean. Sanitizing products are a challenge to acquire at this time, and so we don't have the resources to continually clean those areas. So just bear that in mind. Real quick, the CDC has recommended masks when you're in public. So if you have one, we encourage you to wear it when you're there. That's a big help to your neighbors that are there with you.
It's not necessarily that you might not get the virus. It's preventing if you have to cough or something like that. It's protecting others as well. So good reminder. We talked a little bit about some of the activities that have been put on hold in the concert series. I do want to bring up one other thing, but just because she called this morning, is Virginia Ficcaro. She is the one who designed the Tree of Life, that labyrinth. And she said something to me that was rather interesting, and what was sort of her inspiration behind that. And I wanted to hear you guys, your comments on this. Is that under the Hippocratic Oath, I understand, as she explained it, man's best medicine is walking. And so when she was given that area to design, she made this. It's the only tree of life that's woven into the actual earth, which is really pretty cool. And she said, if you walk that 3 times, that's 1 mile. But how popular is that you guys have seen when you're out at the park?
There is no doubt that younger kids, toddlers on up, they love to start off walking the Tree of Life, and it's very interesting to see when they run out of gas.
Is it going to be at Hope, or is it going to be at Harmony?
That's right. And the poor parents are always kind of following, and then the kids just kind of run out of gas. But it is a very popular spot.
Yeah.
And if you've got a toddler on up, that's just a wonderful place. It's easy to manage them because they're going to stay on the sidewalk, and as long as you keep your social distance, it's a great place to take your child and enjoy that, and it's a good explanation of the various aspects of that work of art, and we're just very proud of it and very thankful for Ken and Jan Reynolds of making that gift to the park.
Right. Oh, it's interesting because I'm usually going from point A to point B, and and there I have to walk on the sidewalk, so it's not the shortest way to get to the reflection pool, and you just kind of have to follow the road to get there, which is it's that visual information, and it provides a different type of experience.
And in this time when we all have a little extra time on our hands, it's a great opportunity to reflect on the good things in life, and to use those benches that are there and the message with them as time to introspect on ourselves, and hopefully come out of this more positive than we went in.
Well, that's perfect segue to where I think I want to have you both talk about. There is a spirituality about this place that I have not sensed anywhere else in the world. Not that I'm a big world traveler, but there's something about this that I don't know, it's just quite special that captures a spirit of the community. It captures our history. It captures our future. It captures the present and living in the moment. Can you guys talk a little bit about how the spiritual connection is that people experience when they're out at the park, at any different part of the park?
I'll let Michael speak first.
Well, I'm partial to West Foundation because it's a little closer to nature, but the whole thing, as having been involved in it from very close to the beginning and going through the construction and now through the management, it's a special place to me in that we took a piece of our community's history and transformed it really into our community's future. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's true.
It's true.
We really took something that had been a vibrant part of our community, and then it turned into something awful in our community. It was just derelict, and it really was a drag and a draw on our resources. And now it's become the opposite. It's a place where we all go for relaxation and rest. And I know Kim does this. Whenever I have a visitor to the community, one of the first places I take them is the park, and they're always like, "Whoa, wait a minute, where am I? And I'm not in Mount Vernon, Ohio anymore, am I?" And it really, it is our community's future. And one of the things I've thought through this whole crisis is our little community is positioned for the future. People are going to want to live in a community like ours. We've banded together through this, and we've rallied through this crisis, and we've weathered it fairly well. And if I lived in a big city, this is a place where I would want to now go. I'd want to live in a place like Mount Vernon and with a park like that. it's just going to make me feel more comfortable moving here and living here and spending the rest of my days in a wonderful place like Mount Vernon.
Yeah. Kim.
When we were doing the planning of this, we had somewhat of a world-famous landscape architect that did the first visioning, and we met on a cold day in the middle of winter, and we're walking through a gravel pit. And I remember one of the workers or the architect saying, he'd stop and he said, "The park is going to talk to you." And on that particular day I was freezing. And I really didn't hear any voices. I had to admit that I laughed at him at the time. The other night, you turn on the television and they said that this was going to be our Pearl Harbor, and really was some really bad news. And when you think of what's going on in New York even today, some really devastating news. And you go out to Ariel-Foundation Park, and there's your community with children and smiles and fishing and wildlife. And this is in a community of 16,000 people, a county of less than 60, and you go, this is truly a remarkable area for us to enjoy. And on the spirituality of that, they're truly enjoying it. They are reflecting with their families. There's just families galore out there that, this has got to be when they look back on this 20 or 30 years from now, this will be a very, very pleasant memory and very difficult times for them. So I'm just really proud to be a part of building those memories and protecting. We're literally protecting our citizens by having this resource. And it's something that we would have never imagined 5 years ago. And now, did we plan for that? No. But it was somewhat part of the vision to have the openness of it, and it's just working remarkably well. And the other thing that sometimes people get lost in this, and it may sound offensive when we say this just isn't a city or a government park. It doesn't look like an institution. It's designed to be artistic in its nature and spiritual in its nature. And when you just see the smiles of the family walking through in very, very uncertain times, it really is now speaking to me of what a valuable asset it is to the community.
Well, you said something that it was one of the follow-up questions I wanted to ask you both is, 5 years ago or 6 years ago during the plan, did you imagine that it would have turned out the way it has?
No. Far exceeded the expectations. And folks would try to tell you what to expect. It was just hard to visualize until on a sunny night with a beautiful sunset now, you get it. And we're just very, very blessed to have it. And when you think of the folks that made substantial donations of time, resources for our community to have this, and the collaborations that took place, just very, very pleased that we have this asset in our community. Yeah.
Michael, did you imagine five years ago that this was going to be what it is?
No, when we first started doing some of it, you got to remember as a board, some of the first things we did was clearing brush and rebuilding fishing docks and different things like that. And it was a lot of sweat that went into those. When we cleared the bike trail from the depot to the park, and that was a lot of work, but it just has opened up so much more, and it's so much more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. And just the fact that the community's embraced it makes it all that work worthwhile, and that's why we continue to put more work into it all the time. And we keep trying to make it better every time we can. We're trying to improve it even further.
Well, congratulations to you both for all of the hard work that you've done on the Foundation Park Conservancy board, and the visioning and the partnership with the city. Of course, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and all the programming and the maintenance and the operations. It's not an easy thing to do, but as you both have indicated very well, it's incredibly worth it. I can't imagine what we would be doing now under this pandemic if we did not have that in our community.
I would agree with that.
Man.
You know, I haven't had this conversation with Ted Schnormeyer because I'm not allowed to sit and talk to him like I would generally. I would be. I do want to ask Ted when he was visioning this, if, and I know he's been out watching what's going on, if that was part of his vision. And I'm guessing he probably saw that better than what I did. Karen Wright and her vision as well. I'm confident they saw things that I missed and Michael missed in all this because we'd never experienced anything like this before. But I'm telling you, when I walk through now and I just see what's going on under very difficult circumstances, again, I'm just very thankful for those that have been part of this, and I'm thankful for those that are in the future that will take what we've got and make it even better.
What a great way to end. Anyway, what is Michael, tell us the website again for people to find out.
www.Ariel-Foundation Park.org. You can explore everything on there. Our concert series is listed. Hopefully we get to have most of those. And also, again, the Learn More tab has all of our virtual resources for preparing for your visit for the park and for some fun activities at home with your kids.
And before I forget, all of these swing sets are sponsored for Riverview Park, but we have sponsorship for 2 swing sets to be fulfilled. And if that is of interest to someone, they should get in touch with Carrie Haver through our website, and we would love to complete that sponsorship.
Sounds good. Just one of the, are you guys actually meeting virtually? Is the board meeting virtually right now? Are you how are you doing it? Okay, good.
We meet next Friday, and we, as you well know, you're part of the organization for a number of years. It's just a lot of nice people with great ideas, and we're still able to function very well virtually, but we do miss each other.
Yeah. I know the same feeling. It's not the same thing. It's cool to be able to keep business going, but we're social creatures.
And we are a group of folks with tremendously different ideas and perspectives, and to see that organization put their heads together and come up with a result is just absolutely something I enjoy every month.
Yeah. Well, bravo to both of you and the rest of the board and everybody in the Mount Vernon community and surrounding communities. If you want a chance to recharge your battery, try and experience Ariel-Foundation Park. Go out there and reconnect with nature, and but keep your social distancing and plan your time wisely out there and enjoy nature. I want to thank both Kim Rose and Michael Percy for being here at the office today and being a part of this podcast. Next week, I will be speaking with Joe Springer of the Winter Sanctuary, where we will be talking about what's going on with the homeless population in Mount Vernon. So until then, everybody stay safe, stay smart, and stay strong.